today I'm going to start planting stuff in these brand new grow beds I put up here. And the first thing I'm going to plant on this side is these bush beans. They're Blue Lake bush beans. I like these. As I remember when I was a kid, you know, that I had these canned beans, and I think they were cheap ones. And I remember, you know, the name of them was Double Luck. Now, my wife, she knew about those too, and she said she called them Double Yuck. But I always thought they were good, you know, because, you know, I wasn't really crazy about beans, you know, but I remember when I opened up a can of beans, you know, the Double Luck beans, and they were just strictly, it said on the label somewhere that these are Blue Lake beans. But I remember they're pretty good. I was just amazed. You get them out of the can, you know, and warm them up a little bit, and they're pretty good. And so anyway, that's why this blue bean. I guess that's why I'm partial to Blue Lake beans. But these are bush beans too. It also says that on there too. These are bush beans, and I have to have bush beans here. So, you know, because if you have what do they call pole beans? They just go all over the place. Bush beans do pretty well too. Now, oh, look at that! Look, I got one here. This is a Kentucky Wonder, but it's a pole bean. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. Maybe I'll plant it over here somewhere, but not right here. Okay, so now, oh look, I got another kind. I got a provider bean, an heirloom provider, it says. And this doesn't say whether it's a pole or a bush bean. I think seeing stringless beans disease. Let's see. Doesn't say. So I imagine because it says they're a container for containers, that's probably a bush bean, I would think. But anyway, we'll see. Okay, so I got another one of these. So I'll plant these. Let's see. So I'll plant these Blue Lake bush beans in these two. I already planted one over there, one of these packages over there, and it filled up. Well, it didn't quite fill it up. Well, anyway, so we'll start planting. And what I'm doing is I'm just kind of laying them out here, you know, like a little grid pattern. Let me show you. Okay, what I'm doing is laying them out here kind of like a little grid pattern, see? I don't know, kind of like a checkerboard or something. I don't want to just throw them down here. I could just throw them down and mush them around like I did last year, but I only have these 2 packs, so I want to put them dense enough that they're, you know, pretty dense, and I want them to be spread out kind of economically, if you know what I mean. There's one right there and one right there. Okay, that's 2 now, so we'll go down here now. Looks like, well, there's the Blue Lake beans. There's only there's 2 and or maybe 2 3/4 tubs. So let me try this other one, the Provider Heirloom. It doesn't say what it is. Container variety. So we'll finish these off with this one here. Okay. So this one's going to be mostly Blue Lake, and then oh, look at these. See, these are different color. Well, put in there. Put in there. Well, it looks like I didn't quite have enough beans here to fill this up. So there's about, I got 3.5 of these containers filled up. Now these are pole beans. I could put some more pole beans in here, but I don't know what I'd do with them. Well, we'll let it go at that. I'll hunt for some more. There ought to be something that can grow with these beans. It would be kind of cool. But we'll let it go at that. So today There they are. The first four, they're all beans, and they're bush beans, and those are Blue Lake, 1, 2, 3, and then these little dark beans are called Provider. Yeah, they're Provider beans. Anyway, so we'll see what happens. Well, it's just a few days after planting here, and these were planted from seeds, and these are the beans. And if you look over here, you don't see too much, except there is one bean here that looks like it's coming up now. But look over here. You can see, hey, there's a lot more evidence here. These are sprouting. And there's some in here. And there's one over here. And then look over here. This is a lot more activity. See, these are way up high, and they're all, it looks like just about all the seeds have sprouted. These probably should be some right around in here. But anyway, and then these look pretty good too. Look at that, they're all sprouting. Now, look at that, he's got a dirt hat on there. Well, that'll disappear. Okay, here's the next day on these beans. Look at that, boy, they're looking good. They're coming up really fine. There's still some that are late, see? But they're still coming up. These are the Blue Lake beans. And I think these might be, I think these are Provider beans. I'm not sure, but you can see there's 1, 2 coming up here. So these, maybe they're just later in sprouting, but they're coming up. Now you can see the different stages of growth right here, because I planted these at different times. As you can see right back here, this one is just emerging from the seed, and as you can see, you can see the seed is still on this leaves, and you can see the next stage is right here. This one's a day or so newer, and you can see the seed covering is fallen off, and it's right back, it's down there, and you can see the 2 seeds are still attached. And this one is what happens when grasshoppers eat them. Now I hope this will recover and come back. Now, there's another one here that's a little bit more advanced. You can see the 2 leaves have come out. The seed is still attached. And there's some more that are kind of in the same stage. But, of course, they grow into something like this. And like that out there, you can see these. Now, this is the first stages of the bean growth. As you can see, we shall have a flower come out of there, and then the bean will grow right off of there. Now, it doesn't need to be fertilized. The flower doesn't need to be pollinated, but the bean will grow off of that, and we'll have a few examples of that later on. Okay, now to just do a little review, these right here are all Blue Lake beans. They were all planted at the same time. This one and this grow bed and that grow bed. And if you remember, I think this row right here, we had to put some Provider beans in there because we ran out of the Blue Lake beans. And these are all Provider beans. Now, these are, I had to replant some of these back here because this was too soaked, and I think some of the beans just wouldn't germinate, but I think it's doing okay now. So these are a later start, but it looks to me like this is probably one of the Provider beans. So they're doing pretty good, But there we are, there's our bean patch. Let me back up here. So there's our bean patch right now, and I think we're going to get a lot of beans. They're probably going to start, in 2 weeks. Okay, this is July 22nd, and one final report on these beans. So it's been, I guess, we started on June 11th, and it's July 22nd. So I guess that's a little more than 5 weeks total growth on these right now. This is how fast they grow. Now let me show you a close-up of some of these things to show you just how well they're growing and what to expect, how fast these grow, and that sort of thing. Okay, now if you remember last time I was showing you there was a little, some flowers starting to grow. If you look real close, you can see right there that is a bean forming. And there's some more. There's another one. There's a bean forming. There's a little bit of the flower left on the end of it. And so they are already starting to grow beans out here. There's a grasshopper. We don't like those. So anyway, and remember the beans here that were, this is one the grasshopper ate, and it looks like it's not going to make it. But these, see, these grew up pretty nicely. And here's some more out front with lots of flowers on them. And so as we go down here, remember these are the Blue Lake beans right here. These three bins, this one, and that one. So these are straight Blue Lake beans, and you can see all the flowers that are sprouting on these. So I think in, I don't know, a couple weeks we'll start getting beans. But that's how fast they grow, and that's how well they do in a greenhouse. Now this greenhouse is rather warm, and right now it says it's almost 100 degrees. So and we have coolers running in here as much as we can, cooling it as much as we can. And there's one over there, and there's another one behind the grapes over here. But anyway, there they are, and I don't think that's too bad. And there he is, the cat. I'm not sure what the cat wants. He's got plenty of food out there. It's just lonely, I guess. Oh well. It's the way it is when you're a cat.